Yes, good morning. If you check the time, it's 10:29. Today is 25th January 2019. Here's another lesson as under SQL Server. The tutorials we've been doing, we already have a couple of them already. If you check on YouTube, and you search for web extremists, I think about 12 or so already, 13. This is about digital entrepreneurship. It's different set of videos that's it relating to internet business, but this has to do with a bit of computing. Let's say this is purely about computing. I don't say a bit of, it's purely about computing. So let's let's move into it. What we have to do today is about data types in SQL Server. And if you say data type, it basically means which type of information or like piece of data are you working with. Let's say you are a data administrator, or you are a database manager, or you're a data manager, whichever fancy word you want to use to call yourself. Which data are you working with? Is it money? The information you're working on, is it money? It's just like some numbers, let's say relating to age. The information you are working on, is it like telephone numbers? Is it like names of people, names of countries? Is it like coordinates, like longitudes and latitudes? Are you working with graphs? Are you working with images? Which type of data are you working with? That is basically what data type means. Now, depending on the data type you are using, it has its own ways, or like its instruction to tell the computer. Like in another way, if I'm working with money, you have to tell the computer the information I have is money. If you are working with graphs or like images, you have to tell the computer the information I'm working with is images or is graph. That is coordinates, x and y value. If it's names of people, you have to tell his names like text, just A, B, C, D to Z, or whichever language in French. So basically that is what data type is about, and that is what we are to look at today. So let's straight move into business. Now, from previous videos, we know which database we are working with is the Northwind database, so we are moving straight into it. And to really know what you're talking about, let's create a short table. Like, let's create a table and then you can see what we are working with. Now, for example, okay, let's create our table and then give it any name at all. Let's call the table data type. So now let's say I have information I'm working on. From previous videos, we know how to create table already, so I'm doing some kind of fast way. So let's say I'll be saving name. Let's say I'll be saving name. So I have name here. From previous videos, we know why I've put them in brackets, because the name is a word for SQL Server. It's a reserved word, that's why it's highlighted, but I still feel I have to use the word name, so I'll put it here. It will work if you don't put it there. So we have name. Name is just test. So let's say I'll say test. or var car properly called, or car, or if it's let's say age, then I would say it's integer. If it's let's say your salary, then I'll say I'm dealing with money. So basically that is it. Every information you are dealing with, you will have to state which data type it takes. It's very important. So okay, let's see if you can get existing table. The table we've been using most is the customer table. Let's just create it. So let's say data type, we have type 1. Let's call that one. I wanted to see them in the database first so that we can know what we are talking about. I think that would be straightforward. If you go to the customer and then you right click to design view. Now if you go here, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Now if you take customer ID, this is, they say is this type of data. Now company name, they said is this type of data. Contact name, they gave you this type of data. Title is this type. Supervisor ID this type. Salary, they say this type. So basically these are the things you'll be talking about. These are the things you'll be talking about. And I found an interesting article on I think W3 School type data type. It gives different types. So SQL data types, MySQL data type, SQL server. This is what we are interested in. SQL server. That is this one we are using, the one from Microsoft. So if you are using like MySQL, I want to get the data types are here. These are the data types. Basically, there's nothing much. The whole concept is the same depending on the database we are using. So first of all, broadly you can group them into, let's say, text, number, and then there is I hope the spelling, Boolean, things like that. Broadly, that is how you can group the type of information you'll be working with. And there is number, there is date. Yeah, you can have date too. So broadly, the number, this is what they call string. The one I made test, that's what they call string. So we have string, we have number, and then we have date, and then we have other data types. Yeah, other data types. Now the key ones in most databases, unless, as let me say, the general databases, unless maybe you are dealing with let's say GPS data where you focus on like coordinates and other than that, the basic things you'll be, or like the most common data types is this. Text, you're working with text, you're working with numbers, you're working with dates. Like text, a typical example is if you are storing people's name and if they say gender, their, let's say, company name, and like anything with text, that is it. Anything text is it. Then if you come under number, we have money is there, or let me say salary. We have let's say total figures of things. We have age, we have height, we have your weight, and so many other things that has to do with numbers. Now if you say Boolean, is basically like true or false values, true or false values. So that is what Boolean is about. true or false values. It can also be represented as a 0 or 1. So that is boolean, or like yes or no. That's Y or C. So basically, that is the type of data you have that has two states: yes or no, 0 or 1, true or false, full or empty, things like that. And then we have another type that is like under date. And under date, yeah, we can have, let's say, the person in date of birth, date, the person is employed. Let's say there's something called timestamp. There's something called timestamp. That is something like this. That is the exact time, and if you check the time, that is exactly what it is. But this is actually not even capturing up to seconds. I press F5. Yeah, type notepad. If you press F5, it will give the date and time. See, it's 40, and that is it. I've gotten it. But this is not giving in up to the seconds limit, but SQL Server gives up to seconds limit. So these are the major categories you can put data type. The type of information you are working with is either days, is either days, is either days, and there is image. There is image data type. There is geodata type. That's for the longitude, the latitude, or like the coordinates. So this can be like if you want to save someone's profile, present profile picture, or like scan documents. Of course, maybe like that are in image format, and things like that. Now, if you take SQL Server, it has one other data type called I hope my spelling will be right, is hierarchical, like hierarchical ID. I think something like that. These are the different types. These are the different types. Hierarchical, that's it. That's the guy going down there. You see, there is geography. There's geography. There is let me see if I can connect this one, and if I can zoom it. It doesn't zoom. Oh. So basically, this is it, and here you can see the hierarchical as the H column. This is it. There's geometry data, the geography. So depending on which one which data you are working with, you can have these different types: date, image, boolean. Yeah, you can have these things to work with. So let's take them one by one. Let's say text or the string. Now, if you come here, there are different types. For example, the table we want to create. And what's happening? The table we want to create. So if I say name, then I say is car. Or let's come here. The text. The first one we talk about is text, or like the string. There are different types. So this is comment. So we have string. There are different types. We can have car. We can have var car. We can have var car. We can have end car. And var car. And I think there is text also. I don't know why. Or is text? Yeah, it's text this way, the spelling. All these ones comes under text, or like string data type. These are different types you can use depending on which type of text you are working with. The same way, if you go and number, there are different types. You can have integer, you can have float, you can have real numbers, you can have decimal, there's another one called numeric, then you can have even under the integer, you can still have differences. I think there is tiny int, there is tiny int, do we have medium? No, there's no medium int, but it gives an idea of the different types we will have. So basically these are the subcategories under each. So now if I'm to save someone's name, I know it's a text, it has to do with this. Which of these should I choose? Should I choose car? Should I choose var? Should I choose ncar? Should I choose nvar? Which one should I choose? The option to choose, or like the basic thing you have to consider are two. One, what is the length of information to save? What is the length? What is the length of what you want to save? So now I want to save names. What is the maximum name I can possibly save? That is the first thing you have to ask yourself. What is the maximum length I can possibly save in terms of name? Now, if let's say my full name is this is it, Kaunda is I'm forgetting my full name. Now this is my full name, and if I say length, what I mean is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. That means it's 23 characters, or you say 23 letters. That's 23. Now remember, I counted spaces. Of course, if human being asks you, you do not add the spaces, but if you want to give this to computer, you have to tell the computer I have spaces in the names also. So that's why I got 23. So this is my name, very long, quite long, but not the longest. You can get somebody with maybe a name longer than this. One thing you have to think of is your environment, the data you are working with. Is it like about your district? Is it about Ghana, or is it global information you are saving? This kind of sorry, this will give some kind of idea of what the maximum length will be. If you just your community, then you know this is an account community, or this is a Hausa community, this is this community, and this is the nature of our names. And fine, let's say even if the longest person is to have like twice of this, instead of 23, that will be like 46. If my calculation is wrong, that is 46. So if let's say this is someone's name as long as this, that is twice of mine, then the characters you'll be using is 46. This is not even possible, someone with this name, but let's assume it exists. So you can say the maximum is 46. Or let's say, to be on the safer side, personally I normally use 64 for names. I normally use 64 if it's full name. That is what I give, 64. So if I say var, you have to state 64 in it. If you say car, then you have to state 64. That is the maximum. Take note, is the maximum. Now that is 64. If I have to say nvar car, I will still indicate 64. It has n car. If I have to say nvar car, I will still state 64. For tests, let's see. I doubt if test has maximum. No, test doesn't have limit. text is actually very long. Like you want to save lengthy things like a paragraph, a page, or things like that. I think this one, the maximum you can have is 255. This is the maximum you can have, 255. Maximum is 255. So like you can put here 300. You can put here like maybe someone's name is up to 300 letters, or like if it's so like if you want to save something like a paragraph or a note, then you have to make here maybe like a text, so that you can have large information to save. So basically that is what comes into the bracket means. The 64. Now that is you've seen we are picking var because it's text, we are, or like name is text. So these are the options we have. We can't pick any of these are the options we have for text. Now which one do we choose? Any of these we choose except this. You have to indicate the maximum length you want to keep. The maximum length. If it's like it's gender, I want to save, then 65 is long. Maximum we can have is, let's say, female, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6, or male, which is 1 2 3 4, or 4, which is this. So now we've decided to see what is in the brackets, the 64, what that figure means. If any value here, you've seen what it means. Now, is it the car or the var car? Which ones do we choose? Now, let's say if we take name, let's say 64. Now, let's say this is up to here. Now, this is my name. Let's see, this is someone's name. Maybe someone's name, we get these two, which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So let's see, the length is 13. Let's see, someone's name is this, which we got somewhere, I think around 46. Now someone's name like Ufiedu, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It's just 8. So you realize there is no fixed size. Some they have short names, others have long names, so there's no fixed size. So in that case, the value we put here should always target the maximum length you can possibly have. The maximum length, that's what you will put here. Now in this scenario where some will have 8, some will have 13, some will have 64, some will have I think this is 23. The double is the 46. So it varies, and that is where this word comes from, the var. That is meaning it varies. So if the information you want to save varies, then you use var. If it varies, some will have this short, some will have long, some will have medium. It varies. There is no fixed length for that type of information you are getting. Then in that case, you use a variable char. The char is we call a char. So like var char or like char. So that is it. If it varies, then you use var char. If it's fixed, then you use char. If it's a fixed data, then you use char, or like char. Then in the bracket, the maximum you can have. Now, if let's see another example of information that is char. So like let's see gender. Let's see gender. So the person can either be male or female. Let's say if you are using this way to code it, M or F. In that case, we know there's nothing like this, and this one will just be F. You know it's fixed. It's just one value. Boss, I did fine. Not yet, not yet. No, you know, can yet. Yes, we do. I think 2 days ago. Yes. Once we close, it's every staff type. Uh, mm, I'm sure that should be from the bank because I know it's gone from here. If sent. Okay, was okay was. Sorry for that. So if there are that difference like M or F, just one. Or another example is, let's say you want to save a telephone number, or let's say mobile number. Let's say we are in Ghana and we know everyone's number, taking the country code out, is 10 digits. All numbers we have, like mobile numbers we have, is 10 digits. Every mobile number is 10 digits. So even if you want to add the country code, then you should be like let's say 15 or let's say 14. But you know, it's some cannot have like 9 telephone number is 9. Mr. B, his telephone number is 10 digits. Mr. C, his telephone number or like mobile number is let's say 8 digits. Of course, if you are to mix like the landline and then the mobile, then maybe some of the landline, the digits will be different and things like that. But if it's mobile you want to accept, then we know the maximum is everybody's one. It doesn't have maximum. That is what everyone has, 10 digits. There's nothing like maximum, minimum, or medium. So if it's, let's say, mobile number, we know this one varies, so we use var. Mobile we know is the same, so then you say 10. So that is this char, or like the car, you know it's fixed car, then you use it. If it varies, you use varchar or varchar. That's it. So let's see the difference now. Where from this and that is like this number that you want to save. This number that you have to save. In one of the videos, we talk about something like ASCII, like different ways of representing information in the computer. Now, this car is taking into consideration like common names we know. Let's say in the English language, or like common letters, the A to Z, the little apostrophes and those things. But now, if you want to save complex names, let's say your application is that broad, maybe you have to save information coming from people from different countries, then you are likely to encounter someone like things like Arabic names, like Latin names, like different names. So it's not just A to Z letters that you have to work with. You will have to work with different symbols. Just imagine if Yanong come in China, like different things all together. So in that case, if your system is targeting that type of scale, like that large scale that you can have names from different areas, then in that case too you use this type of the beta type. Technically you say this one supports the Unicode system. That is what the N supports. So you have enough characters to work with, not just A to Z that you have to work with. Take French for example. These people sometimes they write E, and that E will be having some bar on top of it going this way, and others will be having going this. So things like that. If that's the target you are looking at, then you will use this N. And the same way, if the telephone number to, let's say, it can have not telephone number, but anything at all you want to save that has fixed values, or like fixed length, and that thing you are saving could come from different countries with different languages, and you use the end to save it. So basically that is it. And text, I've talked of text already. That is when you have large things like paragraph, like full page text you want to save, like a note someone has typed, there's a column you want to save that, recommendations and things like that. That is when you use the text data type to save it. So let's say like let's say remarks. Let's say remarks. So remark will be text. Things like that. Let's say it's long. It's long. So let's say call it staff to make sense. So a table called staff. So the name, the number, and then maybe remarks, any information, but anything additional you want to talk about that stuff. So that is it for the text data type. We know this, we know this, we know this, we know this. So that is it. Now let's see under numbers. So under numbers, let's add gender to this. Let's see gender. In our case we'll do just MOF. So I know it's fixed, they are all 1 1, so I'll just say 1. That is it to save gender. So let's see under numbers, if the information you're working with also is numbers. Now integer, the difference between this and this is what is the maximum size of information you can save. What is the maximum size? I think integer is around 2.1 billion. Integer data type, the size is around 2.1 billion. Let's see it here. Which one is the SQL? So we are here. You've seen this test. You've seen this test. These are different data types for var binary. I think var binary, this one too can be used to store I think image. You can use this to store image, you can use it to store files. And you can see the maximum size it can support. So basically character string car n, it can be defined with storage 2 bytes plus number of cars. These are some additional information, so you can look them up later. Now we want to look at integer, bit, tiny int, small int. This is the integer I made mention of. Yeah, this is it. If you want to store a figure that is that could be like minus to negative 2 point something billion to positive 2.1 billion, in this range, then you have to use integer. Now if it has to be in this range, between this and this, then you use small int. Now if it's just between 0 and 255, the number you are saving cannot be more than 255, then you will use small int. Now if it's no, that is, you use tiny int, that is this. And if it's just some kind of 0 or 1, then use bit. That's the one I call boolean here. That's the boolean data type. It's called bool. SQL Server is calling it bool. So like bit rather, sorry, bit. So that is it for different data types. They are all integers, and if you say integer, what you mean is there's no decimal points. Just like if 2 or 1 million or something, there's nothing like 10.0. no, we just, let's say 12.0, no, just a 12. There's nothing like this point, this, no, it's just the raw figures, and the size of the figure will indicate whether you have to use tiny int, small int, or the int, something like that. Let me see, something is running in my mind like there is big int also. Let's see from here if there is something like that. Yeah, there is big int. So big int, and I'm sure that should run into somewhere trillions. So basically that is it for numbers. So if I have to the person's age, let's see from what we know int. If you say int, that means this is the type of information you are about to save. It could be as large as 2 billion. Can someone's name age be as large as that? No. So you come to small int. Now small int, that one to this is the range from negative 32,000 to positive 32,000. Can someone's age like fall in this range? No. Now then you come to tiny int. Now this is from 0 to 255, and you realize you are just using 1 byte to save it. This one will be using 2, this will be using 4 bytes. So this is the possible one you can use. You know, age is somewhere between 1 to like 0 to somewhere 100 or like maximum 150 and those things. But this is saying even 255, so which is fine for us to use. So if you say age, then you say tiny int. That is all. You know, they have their ranges already that you are dealing with, so you don't have to say, let's say into the bracket, let's say 255. It will not. So that is it. Now if you have the need to store some, let's say large, but let's say if it's salary, the person's salary, you can use tiny int, because if you use tiny int, what you are saying is the highest person you will pay, or like the highest amount you pay for someone is 255 cities, which is not possible. So in that case, salary, you will have to use a small int so that you can give people money between 0 and 32,000. That is where your company is looking at. And if someone can still pick more than 32,000, then you have to jump into this one straight away, and then you use here int, and then that's it. So we've seen int, we've seen integer, why you have to use small int. The differences are just the size of information you can save in them. Now let's see another angle of this category. You know, the integer and then these guys. If you enter this here, then basically you are looking at those information you receive that has decimal numbers, like decimal point in them. The type of information you receive that has decimal point. Now if you take here, I use small int, which gives me the range of, let's say 32,767. Now what if someone is to get like his salary is 10,000 or like 1,000 days? It will not work. Because it has decimal part, so you can use integer to save it, or like the small int. So in that case, this will have to change to numeric, or it has to change to decimal, or it has to change to float, things like that. So what I normally use is numeric. If you check from, I think it's a bit confusing, numeric and decimal. But if you check from I think Stack Overflow, there is a clear answer that in the way they work is the same. Is the same, the way they work. There was a time I read some detailed reasons why maybe you have to use one over the other, but it doesn't make sense to be thinking about that because of that detailed down reason of how they implement the storage. So but feel free to use either numeric or decimal, and you realize they all have their, everything about them is the same. So salary, you don't use integer, you use decimal. It's like you tell the computer you can have decimal points, 10 point something, 100 point something, 1,000 point something. And how you say that is when you write it, then you just put here, let's say P and then the D, or like this is P is precision. I think that's precision. For example, what is the length of the numbers you want to store? Take note, including the decimal part. Now if you take this one, we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I think that includes the decimal, so it's kind of something like this. So you have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So if you want to store this number, that means you are dealing with 6 digits. In that case, here will be 6. Now that information you want it to be in 2 decimal places, so that here will be 2. Take note, the 6 is not for only this part, it's for everything, the whole of the digits you want to save. So if, let's say, here is 6 this way, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, that makes it 8. So in that case, here should be 8. If you leave here 6, it should give information relating to overflow. Let's try run this. That is okay, it will run, but if you have to save that, if you have to put this information in it, it will tell you there is an overflow. There is an overflow. Yeah, it will run. This one, you're just creating the structure, so it will work. But if you have to save this information at the decimal place, it will tell you there is an overflow, which we will surely do later. But let me drop the table first so that we can continue. Drop table. I think it's something like this. Yeah, it's gone. So this is it. Let's get this clearly. The first one is the count of everything. So if this is the possible number you'll be storing in these decimal places, you can have, like, this one, for example, is 1 2 3 4 5. That's 5 decimal places. So this whole thing is 1 2 3 4 5, then 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So here will be 13, and out of that, 1 2 3 4 5 is decimal places. So in that case, this is how it will be. This is how it will be. The maximum you can have here is 38. That is 5. This is 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very long, very big, very big. So, but everything plus the decimal, it should not be more than 38. That is the maximum you can have. Now, if you think you have some this that could be larger than this, then in that case, you have to use float. And float doesn't have this. Yeah, you have to use float. If this 38 digits is still something that is small for the type of data you are working with, then especially if it's a bit of scientific, your precision, your decimal point, if it's even dot, you still want to get everything at the decimal point. So in that case, you use float and not decimal. I've said already, like, this is the same as numeric. The same thing, everything applies. Here still covers everything plus here and then here. So basically that is it for numeric and then float. Now if you want to let's say it's some event you are working on, and then you want to see the person, like, are you ready to go? So you say, like, you create another column, like, it's ready. You see the person applying is ready. Now you just want yes or no, so you can use this one you can use bit. You can use bit, or you can use int, and then you limit it to 1. This didn't work, so you say int, let me say bit 1. Okay, yeah, bit. So it's either true or false, yes or no. Or another way is to use char 1, so that you can be capturing 0 and 1, or you can be capturing y and n. Y and n, y for yes, and then n for no. So if you want to capture things like true or false values, then that one too you use bit. So basically that is it for real. I think this and this, the difference is also the sizes of data you can work with. This is a very resourceful one for me. There's a link, so anything at all you can fall here and get more details. Then the next one is date. Date is a type. So let's say the person's date of birth. So that one to let's say date of birth, let's say date. That is all. But what this has is it only gives like 10th of October, let's say 2000. This is the person's date of birth. You get something like this. It depends on which database management system you are using. Some will say the year should come first, then the month, and then the day. Others will say like the day should come first, the month, and the year. And others will say the month should come first, then followed by the day, and then the year. So it all depends on which database you are, database management system you are using. But they are all dates, and they don't have the time part of it. It's just a date. Now, if you want something like what we just deleted this, and you want to know like it happened at let's say 0808, let's say you want to get the full detail of what you are saving, like the time even in milliseconds, then in that case you use this date time. This is another data type under date. There is date, there is date time that you can use. So a typical example is, when was this record saved? And I normally use like insert date and date time. Insert date, and that will be date time. So if you save information in this column, you will see the decimal parts, like the seconds and everything attached to it. Now, for example, if it's the record you will be saving, then you can give a default value for this, which should always be the system's current time. You can make it so as soon as the record goes in, then it will capture the system's time and then put it the default. You don't have to key in that value. Now, imagine if like you have an interface, someone is keying in something, and you tell him to key in the time he key in the records. He will definitely put wrong figure, or like attendance login. Then you tell him like, right, login, he will enter username and password. Then you also give him a form, like enter the time you are coming to work. The person will not put the right time. So those time you can capture it behind the scenes. You can capture that time behind the scenes, and the way to do that is to give a default value of this, of the time, and that default value will be the system time that it will use. And I think to do that, you say default current current time for default current time. Time, current date. Oh, let's see this. Get this. Yeah, I think this should work. Get date. No, I think get date will give only the date. Let's see it. Tsql. The keyword, why is it not working? Current timestamp. Alright, this. So why wasn't my working? Current date. Okay, I wrote current date time. Current times. Stamp. Okay, I didn't write the few. Okay, so that's it. So if you make it this way, then as soon as you enter record, this will also be added automatically behind the scenes. So basically, these are the key data types you're working with. Other ones I made mention of, if you come here, and even the daytime, there's precision, like the second, the millisecond, the millisecond, the nanoseconds. if you need all those one, it depends on which one you'll be using, but the bigger name is the data type. And mostly while you've been there, except you are at a critical, like you are using a critical system where like even the milliseconds or you need it. Other than that, the dates, like the hour, the minute, the seconds, and then let's say the milliseconds should be enough for that record you are saving. So basically that is it. And these are different ones, like for XML data, for cursor, for tables. These are different data types, and depending on your need, you should know how to use them. But for this normal tutorial we are doing, I'm not sure I'll be using this one. For example, it gives a bigger unique values. Like if you set a database and then you make it auto increment. Let's say here, let's say if we add this and you say ID and then you say I think this one calls it identity. This is int here. The identity is 11. Yes. If I do something like this, what I'm trying to say is this column, I will not be inserting the values there. The system, the SQL server itself will be giving that value, and you should start from 1 and you should be increasing it by 1. So if you enter first record, this ID will be 1. Second record, this ID will be 2. Third record, it will be 3. If I make it something like this, then the first record will be 1, second record will be 3, third record will be 5, meaning like increase it by 2. So if I make it like from 5, that means start from 5. If I make it something like 1000, start from 1000 and be increasing it by 1, or like increasing it by 2 or by 3. So that is this data type. So let's say this is 1 and this is 1. So and then possibly we can make this one primary key. Primary key. So that is it. I think we have our structure now to work with. Enter data and see this type of data, how it is. So let's run it. You can click the execute or use the F5. So I've executed it. It's working fine. So we have this table now. Now let's add some data to it. So you see insert into this. Now remember, it's not all the fields we are entering data. This one, for example, is to come automatic. This one too will come automatic, but this one will come with numbers incrementing, but this one will come with the time we entered the record. So that is it. So that means we will enter information in this. We will do it ourselves. We will enter mobile, we will enter gender, we will enter remarks, we will enter remarks, and then where are we? After remarks there is age, there is there is age, there is salary, and then this is it's ready, and then DOD, and then the insert, we are not entering it. The insert, no, this one will come automatically. So this is the columns you want to add data: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what are the values we are entering? We are entering this. So let's say the person's name, let's say Mr. X. His age is the next is mobile, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. So that is the gender is one digit, or like one character, let's say female. The next one is remarks, and remarks is really long remark. It could be anything long, more than 255, which the backup provides. Then the second one is age. Let's say age is 100, the person 100 years. Then the next is salary. So let's say salary is speaking 5,000. And then it's red only, and you see one is ready, that is 2. Okay, let's use car 1 to make it so that you can see the words yes or no. So 1. So you have to modify. We've already created a table, so we will alter it so that we can what am I doing? Now it can be done this way. You have to run a bit of long code and say alter table staff. When you say I think modify column, or you say column is ready. One. Has an auto column. Yeah, I think something like this. Okay, it worked. So now here, after the salary is ready, so we can put let's see Y, yes. And if it's not ready, we put no. So date of birth, let's say 01/12. Or that's 10/12, and then let's say 2000, the year 2000. So basically that is it for now. So let's clear this. So we have what is this saying? Invalid object staff. What are you talking about? So that is it. So you insert this, and these are the values you are inserting. Let's see this here so you can see full screen. So this is it. Now let's run. Did it work? Oh, I didn't click. But let's see everything from this. So we will have okay, it didn't execute. This is the table, there's nothing in it. So run it. Okay, one record affected. So let's run this one again, and that's it. And you can see this cannot be zoomed. Now you can see the ID is created automatically because we said it's an identity and it will be incrementing by 1. So it's automatically incrementing the name, the mobile, the gender, the remarks, the age, the salary, and you can see the decimal part is showing that this. Let's see the table structure. The salary, what is the salary? That's 5 decimal places. So that is the 5 decimal places here, and that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 9 days, and you have up to 38. So that is basically, so this is the Israeli, the Y, the date of birth. You can see it here, and then the insert. You can see there is a time to the time to up to milliseconds. This is the hour, the minute, the seconds, and then the milliseconds. So these are the different, or like the key different data types you have to work with. I made mention of like hierarchical, like the geography data type, like the geometric data type. Now, if the hierarchical, for example, if trying to get a typical scenario of where to use that type of data. For example, I've used it in a project before, and I was using it to save budget lines in terms of projects. Let's say if you have a project, like you have to your budget lines. Let's say, or like any plan you have, I will do X, Y, Z. But that X also I have to do 1, 2, 3 under 8, under point 1. I have to do more things. Now take a typical example. Let's say you have a budget, or like budget line, and that budget line, let's say you have to, there's a budget line called salary. So let's see, you have a salary budget line. We have let's see, there's another budget line called workshop, and then there's another budget line called travel expenses. So it's E. So these three budget lines, and salary budget line, then you can have, let's say, those relating to, let's say, internal staff, and then external. Now for workshop, we can have or we can have, let's say, workshop on human resource. There will be some workshop relating to human resource, and another workshop that will be like this data entry, and then there will be another workshop and etc. So in terms of travel, let's say there will be international travel, there will be local travel, there will be things like that. And now if you take, let's say, under internal staff, the salary, then let's say which staff type you'll be paying, let's say managers, you'll be paying let's say accounts staff, you'll be paying account staff, you'll be paying it's a data entry staff, you're paying. Now you've seen the structure. These are the bigger ones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And below them, let's say below the salary, there is internal, and then there is external. And then under internal, there is a manager. So it's like there are, in each category, there are subcategories, and that category, there are subcategories. That is where you use the hierarchical ID data type. The hierarchical data ID data. I think in under data structure, that is 3. It's like 3. You use 3 to represent that type of data structure. So depending on your needs, you will use a lot of other data types, but these are the key ones that are common. And with this background, you should be able to work with any other data type that you have to use. That is the whole concept. The type of information you are working with, what it is, and what it is, you have to get those ones done. So basically, that is it for in terms of data type. For let me say for today, the time is 11:33, and it will be on YouTube. So anything at all, if you are not clear, you can walk in again, or like, if you have some data, you really don't know which specific one data type you have to handle. And there is this one maybe you have to quickly talk about, like I think var binary maximum. You can use this one to store images. like let's say profile pictures, you can use this one to store it. There are different ways of doing it, but this basically means you are converting the image to binary and saving it direct in the database. And there are other ways where like you can save it in a directory, then you rather store the link to that, the path to that image in your database. So it all has its like advantages and disadvantages, but you can use this one to store your image. And I think in MySQL also has a data type for blob. That is the MySQL NoSQL server for images. It has this, and I think Access has data type for image. Okay, SQL Server 2 has image. That's it. So that is different data types, and hope we've covered enough to get started with your data type, knowing which one you have to use. So basically that is it for today, and then have a nice day.